Hello, everyone. Welcome to Myers Monday. Okay, so hi, Jackie. Hi, Alana. How is everyone? Hi, Claudina. No, long time no see. Mama Cakeskin, Amanda. Hey, was that Amy? Carrie? Yay. Okay, tell me really quick. Is it frozen? Because I see something weird was going on. It's okay. Hey, Carrie. Hello. Grace for Kids, Sindel. Sindel, I remembered. St. Monica's Corner. Hi, Amanda, right? Okay, so let me just go ahead and get into it. If you're watching the replay, welcome and thank you. I am so sorry. I forgot there was a hop tonight, and I was like, oh, rats. But I figured everybody can just watch the replay. But it looks like lots of you are here. I'm so surprised. Hey, Amy. I made it out of bed. We had a lazy day. I was like, if everybody else gets a day off school, so do we. Okay, so let me just tell you a little bit about this. Hey, Grace. Quickly, can somebody tell me if it's frozen or if something weird is going on? I don't know why, but my brain is saying that people are jumping out and coming back in. So, I don't know. Oh, yes. I have been up since 2 a.m. I needed a lazy day. You know, I'm getting older and I really need sleep, I realize. Like, I am good for nothing. You see okay, cool. Okay, cool. Okay, good. Okay, really quick, let me just show you here my little screenshot that I made. So Amy announced this morning on Rock Your Homeschool that we're going to do, because she knows about the Myers-briggs too, and she had this awesome idea, and so we're all kind of like hopping on it. Hey, Heather, hey there, Jen. Hey, Heather. Okay, so, we are going to do something called Myers Mondays, and we're going to kind of do something with the whole idea of, yes, you didn't miss it. Hi, Heather. Hi, friend. So Myers Mondays, first off, Myers is referring to the Myers-briggs personality profile. It's called the Myers-briggs Type Indicator. That is what the MBTI is for. So it is about personality, temperament, intelligence, and individuality. And it's a fairly popular personality profile, probably the most popular one. It's really insightful. It's something that I've known about it since I was like 9 years old. I'm a junkie for it, and I love it, and I just want to tell you guys about it. So let me hurry up and scoot this and turn it around so I can say hi. Whoa, it was going to fall. Is it going to fall? I don't know. Okay, so how is everybody? Let me scoot this back. Oh, well. Actually, I need to scoot back. What am I saying? How are you guys? Okay, so, oh, it's so hot here. It's so hot. I'm in Southern California, and I turned off the air conditioning. Oh, your connection is bad right now? Mama Cakeson. You guys, let me know. Let me know if your connection's bad. Hi, Amy. Amy, is it good? Is it still good? Are some of you guys good? Because I don't know why, but I had a feeling. Okay, it is great. Okay, good. Cool. Okay, so let me just get into it. So, oh, by the way, if you're new here, I'm Lindsay, and I blog at, so Jelly of my Wraith. I don't know that word. Oh, weather. Oh my goodness. It is ridiculous though. It's like 86 degrees. And I have a headache. I have my water bottle. I'm like, oh. And I don't know why I didn't go swimming. I don't know what I'm thinking. So anyway, okay, so let's jump into it. Because then I got to cook and do dinner and hey, Sarita. Okay, so Myers-briggs Type Indicator is a personality profiling test. Just like in my picture, I announced it on, you did a snow scope today, Melody? Oh, but I want to see snow. I haven't seen snow in 14 years. Thank you, Sarita, for inviting. Okay, so Myers-briggs Type Indicator is a personality profile test. And on my graphic, there's a little message on the bottom, and I made an announcement and I attached a graphic to it. Yes, MBTI. And on the graphic, it says to go to 16personalities.com to take your personality test. Some of you guys have done that already, and you know what I'm going to be talking about. Some of you haven't. But we're going to start this new thing called Myers Monday, like I said, and it's I think is really useful, and it helps because people don't always understand each other. They don't always get each other. And it's just my, opinion that if we knew more about, hey, Candace, if we knew more about each other's personality type and each other's temperament and type of intelligence and differences, then we can really, there'd just be a little bit more peace and love and getting along. Oh, who's an INFJ? Throw that up there again. Grace for Kids, Sindel, I'm an ENFP too. Woohoo! And so is Jen. And we have a couple INFJs. Yeah, so is Amy. And was that Amanda that was an INFJ? Yes, it was. Amanda's INFJ. So, hey, we got 30 people on. Cool. So, what, honey?
Where's the Mr. Clean Eraser?
The Mr. Clean Eraser? I saw it up in the kitchen. Okay, sorry. My husband's INFJ. My husband's INTJ. So you're an ENFP and you married an INFJ. I'm an ENFP. I married an INTJ. ENFPs go with INTJs and INFJs. They're supposed to be our best match, which is awesome. Sarita's, Sarita says, hey, honey. Zoe. Oh, she's waving. She's waving. She can't see that. So Chris Mitchell, you have no idea. Jen, your husband's INFJ. You're ENFP, right? Right? It's a chemical thing. It is literally science. So, Candace, you can never remember mine. Okay, go ahead and go to 16personalities.com. It's a lot of fun. And, yeah, Sindel, you're lost with the acronyms. Well, that's what I'm going to talk about today. In fact, I should start talking about it because I'll never get to it. Yeah, Claudina, yeah. Oh, Swampy Joe, you're INFP. You know what's funny? Do you guys see a pattern? ENFP, INFP, INFJs. And it's funny. Yes. Plumstead. Yes. And Plumstead, give me your name. We actually go together. It's so funny. Like, it's literally like, this is a chemical balance and it attracts people. It just attracts people. And I swear my whole entire life, I've been around INFPs and INFJs. NFPs and NFJs. And it's funny. It's funny. What if my hubby won't even take the test? Drug him? I don't know. Okay. So, the Myers-briggs Type Indicator. It is a personality test. You go to 16personalities.com and you answer certain questions. The questions will go ahead and the questions will ask you, and then it will tally up your answers, and it will give you 4 letters, okay? So the 4 letters are going to be category 1. Sorry, oh, my notifications. Okay, category 1, you're either going to be an E or an I. That means you're an extrovert or an introvert. He's a big poop. Category 2, you're either going to be an S or an N. If you're an S, it is sensor. If you're an N, it is intuitive. Now, let me just back up a little bit. Well, no, I'll keep going. Okay, category 3, you will either get a T or an F. A T is a thinker, and F is a feeler. The 4th category, you will either be a J or a P. The J is a judger, the P is a perceiver. Now, let me back up and tell you what those mean. Extrovert, introvert, we're pretty familiar with that. However, it could be a little bit sneaky because certain people can be an introvert, but they come off like an extrovert. Amy, Sindel, your husband's an INTJ just like me. ENFPs and INTJs. That's so funny. That's supposed to be our perfect match. So, Melody, you're an outgoing introvert. Okay, if you watch Rock Your Homeschool with Amy Milsick, she always tells you, I mean, she's mentioned it a few times, Sarita's INFP. So, Amy has said it a couple times that even though on her scopes and in the morning, she's like, yeah, she's actually very introverted. So, it's a little tricky, the feeling in between now. Is that possible? Yes, being in between is possible, and I'll tell you why. Sarita, ENFJ, INFP, that's a wonderful match, Sarita. Awesome. It's possible because when you take the test, it's going to give you a percentage. It's going to show you how much of one letter you were. It's going to give you a percentage. So sometimes you will be close to the middle. Now, personalities don't necessarily change over your lifetime. Sometimes maybe one letter is a little different than before, but generally you are born with a chemical balance. And maybe as life goes on, you could demonstrate one to a little bit more of an extreme or a little bit less. But if you're somewhere in the middle, it can change a bit. So anyway, the extrovert and introvert can be tricky because it has to do more with your energy. When you are around, sometimes you feel like you have 16 personalities. You must be an ENFP. We're a walking paradox. I'll tell you that much. So extroverts tend to get energy from people. Introverts, it's not that they don't like to be around people, but when they're around people, they're expending energy. They need to be by themselves to regain energy. Now, what's really interesting is when you get your 4-letter combination, something chemical does happen. For example, I'm an extrovert, I'm an ENFP. Yes, they recharge. I'm an ENFP, however, of all the extroverts, we are the most introverted. Our brain works on overload. We are constantly intuiting, we are constantly observing, and we constantly take things into us, which is why of all the extroverts, we have to have time alone. We have to. We have to have time alone to process and recharge because we're expending and our brains are doing so much. Jen knows. Sindel, you know, girl. Those are my ENFP twins. So, thank you. Amy, I love you. I need to take this test. Sounds like me. Yeah. So, let's go to the next one. Actually, I'm going to skip the second category because that's what I'm going to spend the most time on. The third category, you're either a thinker or feeler. Now, I'm sure you guys know, there's certain people that are just very logical and they base their decisions on logic. A lot of men are thinkers. Women tend to be feelers. We tend to, we're more emotional. We value mercy over justice. However, it's not a woman-man thing. There are a lot of women there are some women that are thinkers and some men that are feelers. You're an ISFP, a sweetheart with an INTJ. Interesting. Hold on. Okay, so thinking and feeling. You could be a very logical person. Again, my ENFP girls know this. I'm an ENFP, so I might use me as an example a lot. Yes, Jess, you can take it at 16personalities.com. If you go to the scope groups or you go to my page, go to the Facebook page, the Nitty Gritty Mom page. I threw up a graphic and it has information on it. And if you go to my Facebook page, I will, I'm going to post some information after this on there, with links and everything. But it's 16personalities.com. In fact, let me just show you really quick. My graphic. Okay, you see that down there? Go to 16personalities.com for your free test. Okay. So, thinker, feeler. Is the fan... Oh, Lorenzo, we turned the fan off. Uh-oh, hold on. Oh, no, that's not it. No wonder I'm burning up and I'm sweating. And I'm like, what happened to the fan? Okay. So, you could be very logical, but it's more about what you base your decisions on, right? Thinkers base their decisions on logic. It's not that they're not emotional. It's not that they don't have hearts. They just feel hot flashes. Woo, yeah. Okay, so that's actually kind of self-explanatory. The last category is J or P, judgers or perceivers. Judgers tend to be more decisive and they like to get things done. They expend their energy in a sense that they feel better when they're expending their energy and they're getting things done. Perceivers and J's come across as routine, structured, doers, hardworking. J's come across like that. Like, I need to get it done. We need to get it done. We need a routine. We need this. Now, again, something interesting happens when you put your 4 letters together, because there are personalities with the J that aren't always structured in everything, but there's something about them that makes them a little bit more decisive. Now, perceivers is the P. I'm a perceiver. Perceivers are sometimes, we can procrastinate. Yeah, Amy's a J. Perceivers can sometimes procrastinate. And it's funny because sometimes in our life, people will say, and pay attention, because this is why I love the Myers-briggs Type Indicator. Because once you get into it, once you get to know it, you have your aha moment for yourself, but you also have your aha moment for someone else. Because let's say that you are a J and you don't get why your mate or your children don't get things done and get on the ball. Why do they wait for the last minute? And you might even label them as lazy. But this is something interesting about perceivers. We're not any less hardworking. I mean, some people are, but it's not about the P or the J. But we reserve our energy for creative moments. And we usually feel better when we play first, work later. Now, oh yeah, Jen, you got to have your kids take the test. So, for instance, Sally Borink has like this famous post, homeschool post, and you didn't even think, OMG, you didn't even think, yeah. Sally Borink has a post on why she homeschools in the afternoon. And I'm sure you've seen it all over Pinterest. Hey, how are you? Oh, my battery's going low. Oh, well. Okay, so if memory serves me correctly, Sally was saying that she noticed that her daughter did better in the afternoon after she played in the morning and got all her fun energy and creative energy out. I could tell you she's a P. There's something about us that sometimes we're just like, we're driven to kind of like distract ourselves, or we're driven to like do something interesting. Our brains are saying, I can't think about this job over here. I need to expend my energy in this creative mode right now. And so, yeah. Jen's an ENFP. I'm an INFP. Sindel, you probably know about this. Yeah. So it's literally like, and we go with spurts. We go on spurts. Like, Jen and I are laughing because we've been up like really, really late. Just like, we won't even like blog consistently on a schedule, and then we'll like write like 2 or 3 posts in a day. We were just talking about that and laughing. So, and it's funny because to somebody that's different, to a judger, it's like, what are you doing? Like, you're being like, get what you have to done. My husband, he is so upset, and he's like, work first, play later. Work first, play later. Not realizing I was born with a chemical balance that says, I want to do this right now. I'll get to that soon. For instance, I could show you my kitchen right now. It's a mess. I told myself, Lindsay, you should go clean the kitchen first and then scope. Amy, yes. And I'll remind me to say that, or to tell you where you can take it for kids. Doxatheos, Tatiana, right? My kitchen's a mess, and I thought, you should go clean that before you scope. That would be like the logic, like the good thing to do. I'm like, no, I'm scoping. I'm like, I'll do this because my energy. I'm like, I want to talk about this now. I want to do this. I'm so excited. I want to do this. And I won't be able to relax until I do this. Then I could put on Pandora, gather the kids together and say, okay, it's time to clean the house, right? Jay's would be like, I can't think about doing the scope until my kitchen's clean. I really need to get that done. Not all Jays, not every Jay, but on a whole, that's kind of how they feel, right? Exactly. Swampy Joe, it'll rev me up to do the dishes. If I do something creative and I get that stuff out of my brain, then I could do all the boring, mundane, detailed tasks. And that's kind of what it is. The difference between being a perceiver and a judger is like a perceiver, those routine tasks are like, they're mundane and like monotonous, and it's like, oh, it's drudgery, right? We got paid Friday and I still haven't paid my bills. Note to self. So anyway, really quick, Amy, the test for kids is, I'm going to pull it up really quick. Ooh, I have a message. Oh no, Jen's here. Okay, so let's see, MBTI test for kids, personality page, personality hacker, kids met. Okay, oh, you know what? I have a post on my blog. If you go to thenittygrattymom.com and you look for, I think it's under parenting, the category of parenting, there is a post called The Ultimate Guide to Your Child's Personality, Temperament, and Intelligence. And, oh, thank you, Amy. There are links in that post to the personality tests for yourself and for your children. So, yeah. So let's go back to that second category. It's the difference between an intuitive and a sensor. This is a crucial category. Oh, thank you, Jen. The second category is a crucial category to understand. It is usually what causes the most problems. It is how you communicate. There are people that are sensors, which means they communicate through the 5 senses, what they taste, touch, see, hear, and smell. They are grounded, they're down to earth, they are practical, and they're realists. Then you have your intuitives. And intuition, we all have intuition. You guys know what intuition is, what it is. But most intuitives, they communicate and they take in communication largely with their intuitive powers. So they're the ones that are a little bit more abstract in thinking. Well, remember, Jen, the ENFPs are the most realistic of the intuitives, which sometimes we think we're S's. Melanie's here. Anna, hi. So I'm getting back to the difference between the intuitive and the sensor. Yeah, Jen. Yeah, and that's what's interesting when you combine the 4 letters. There's different chemical reactions that have like an interesting effect. Hi, Melanie. Yes, Sarita, just remember that post has a link to the test for adults and the test for children. And I will put links up on my Facebook page. So Grace, welcome back. So the intuitives, you will find that sometimes they can't tell you why they know something, but they have a feeling. They have a feeling. They're like, I don't know. I can foresee something happening. Yeah. And the thing, really quick, Sarita, I gave you guys, I told you guys the link to the test with your children. Hey, Diamond Rose. The thing about children too, when they're that young, like before they're teenagers, there's usually a 4th category that's not fully developed. So, so they're given 3 letters. My son, when he would take the personality test, he was an INJ. He's 12 now. He has a really strong personality. So now he takes the adult test and he realizes he's a little bit more T than F. So he's an INTJ. But for the children, they link them into 3 groups, 3 letters. Okay, going back to the difference between the intuitives and the sensors, this causes the most problems, because really if you're understanding and loving of each other and tolerant and accepting, there doesn't have to be many problems. But if there are problems in relationships with communication, it's usually because one is a little bit more grounded and concrete and literal in their communication, and one is more intuitive. Yeah. So it's a little different. Intuitives can usually foresee, they can easily foresee how events are going to occur. Like I had a really interesting conversation yesterday, and all weekend long I had this gut feeling, and I'm like, something's going on. And I mentioned it to somebody, and they were a sensor, and they're like, no, it's fine. And I walk away like, I'm not crazy. Something's going on. I find out something's going on. So that's typically like a communication problem. Is sometimes for those that are intuitive, they can't tell you. They can't always pinpoint it, but they're like, I'm sensing something that's going on, and I can't tell you what it tastes, touch, see, hear, or smelled like, but I feel it. And I feel it in my gut. Melanie, I've never known what your type is, but I know you're an intuitive. So, and so also sometimes, so there's that. Oh, I know what I was going to say. If you are an intuitive, only 25% of the population is an intuitive. 75% are sensors. Only 25% are intuitives. So if you are an intuitive, this test, your darling husband is an S and I'm an N. We interpret our conversations totally differently. Swampy Joe, you know. It is usually the cause. Oh, you're ISFP turbulent. Chris, I think I knew that. I think you mentioned that somewhere else. What a sweetheart. ISFPs are very caring, sweet individuals. And they're artisans, and they're really good about, creating sensual experiences. Ooh. I hope no trolls are on here interpreting that. No. Intuitives are rarer. Introverted intuitives, you're ESFJ, just the givers and the hostesses of the world. ESFJs are extremely responsible and giving, and they make sure that people are taken care of. They are self-sacrificing. ESFJs are so sweet. Hi, Amanda. ESFJT. Oh, you're an ESFJ too, Heather. Melanie, I took the test when I was 9. I've been doing this since I was 9. It's like, yeah, so really it's just time. I've had time. What was I going to say? Oh, what's funny? What I love about this, I'm just going to like digress a little bit. What I love about this is that like, when you find out what you are and what other people are, you see there's literal like science and chemical reactions going on, because that's what our personalities are. They're chemical balances. In fact, let me tell you really quick, and I'll save this for another Myers Monday, but the thing is, each personality type also is prone to certain characteristics, certain facial expressions, I knew it. I'm so excited. I knew it. I was like, Melanie, a long time ago, I said, Melanie is an ENFJ. And I hate to tell people, I hate to say like, oh, I know what you are. Because I mean, who knows? Like, that's kind of arrogant. But I was like, Melanie's an ENFJ. She is the mama. She is the teacher. She is the gatherer and the leader of armies. And you do it with finesse. Yes. So it's funny because I just wanted to say to you, I am not surprised. Like, everybody's throwing up what they are, and I am not surprised because every person that it's like we draw each other out, we gravitate to each other. INFPs and INFJs, and then of course what I'm an ENFP. I always am drawn to, but if I'm drawn to like a sensor, they're ESFJs, and it's so funny because all of you guys, I'm like these are the personalities I'm constantly in contact with. People are always telling me, oh, I'm an INFP, and an ENFJ. I dated an ENFJ. He was so sweet. Really good person. Yes, and it's so funny because I love it because I'm like, see, this is chemicals. This is chemistry. Like when people say, oh, we have a good chemistry, I laugh because I'm like, they don't even realize how accurate and true it is. That there are literally chemical balances going on. Plumstead's ENFP. See? Yep. My point exactly. ENFPs, INFPs, ENFJs, INFJs here, and then the ESFJs. And what's interesting is even though the ESFJs and the ISFJs are S's, they are drawn to intuitive feelers, which the rest of us are. Isn't that interesting? Like, I'm just sitting here laughing because I'm like, this has been my whole life. Octavia, yay, yay. Looking at the strengths and the weaknesses is crazy. Hey, Net Drews, how are you? Is that Emily? Are you Emily? My mind is like, I'm trying to remember. Net Drews, give me your first name really quick. Annette. Oh, that's right. Because Annette is net. That's right. You told me last week. Okay, Annette, you're confused. So what we're talking about is a personality profile test that you can take at 16personalities.com. We're talking about the different categories and the differences in personality, temperament, and intelligence. Sarita's reading it. That's so cute. So, yeah, it's really helpful because it helps you to realize too, and I could talk about this forever, but this is going to be a series that I'm going to do on Mondays. It's going to be Myers Mondays. Please invite whoever. Please please take the test and be prepared for next Monday. If you can't be here at this time, go ahead and watch the replay. That's fine. But take the test so that you know what you are and kind of familiarize yourself with your profile. Oh, I don't even think I told you that. When you take the test, it's going to give you your 4-letter combination, but it will give you a profile to read through. And it will be, for a lot of you, it'll be like, aha. If you're an intuitive, you might cry. Because finally, you're like, oh, like, yeah. Oh, Jen, did you say something? I missed you? Mm-hmm. Annette, yeah, 16personalities.com. Do these ever line up? You know what? They don't. They don't line up with astrology. Because honestly, my astrology sign is like a Virgo, and I'm like, nothing like that. That's very interesting too, the strengths and weaknesses. You cried, Amanda. Yeah. You know what? I'll tell you guys really quick just because you're here. See, when you have the combination of letters, each combination is unique in itself, and there's like this chemical, like, I want to say explosion. And there's like this chemistry, really, Jen? And there's like this thing that happens, and that kind of makes you unique. And with the ENFPs, because it says that sometimes we mistype ourselves as sensors because we do tend to believe that seeing is believing. Like, we'll have a feeling, but we keep it to ourselves before we could like prove it. Which sensors are the concrete, literal types that like proof. Yeah, Sindel. So guess what? I was 9 years old when I took the test. and it was an ESFP. Finally, 6 months ago, because my whole life I was like, I would read the ESFP and I'm like, okay, that's me. But I was like, something's missing, something's missing, something's missing. And nothing made sense because it was like something was missing. I finally took it again, but I took it on 16personalities.com, which is a fairly new site. And it came out ENFP, and when I read it, I cried. And I started reading every profile, and I cried, and I cried, and I cried. And I bought a book. Yeah, it balances out. And I bought a book on the ENFP, and I cried even more. And my entire life, my relationships, my moods, my habits, the way that I felt, because everybody feels unique, you know, because we're all unique individuals. So we might feel like this person doesn't get me or this person doesn't get me. But when you read your profile, it's like somebody gets you for the first time. And sometimes, I was just going to say, Sindel, it's affirming. It is so validating and affirming. In fact, I hope you guys don't mind me saying this because it might come out kind of weird. But, you know, as women, we're very loving. A lot of us are loving. I was always the child where I did not care how much somebody, and this really isn't a good thing, I didn't care how much somebody hurt me, I would hold on to them. That is slightly neurotic. But it's funny because, like, I would love like there was no tomorrow. Yeah, a lot of, and the intuitive feelers do. I would love like there was no tomorrow. And a few 2 years ago, I made a friend, and she was telling me, she's like, nobody ever loves me as much as I love them. She's like, I'm in all relationships, I'm like that. And she kind of was saying that, like including me in there with that. And it's funny because to me, I wouldn't say that to somebody, like, especially looking at a friend. I wouldn't be like, oh, I always love my friends more. Oh, this is what she said. She goes, I always love my friends more than they love me. And I'm sitting here like, you have no idea. Yeah. I was like, you have no idea what I'm feeling and how strong my love for people run. But I didn't say that. That was 2 years ago. So 6 months ago when I took the test, that was one of the things I came across. And it mentioned that my personality type, it says that they're capable of a love that most people aren't capable of. They don't necessarily expect that back, but it says that they especially have the ability to try to understand the introverted intuitive types, the more complex types, the more rare types. And I thought it was so interesting because I had never ever said that to anyone in my entire life. But even as a child, I was always the one that was like, you know, sacrificing. And I even hate to say these things because it sounds so like, I don't know, arrogant. But just talking about being affirmed, that was one thing that just made me cry. Because even though I never wanted to tell people like, oh, you have no idea how much I love you, and you have no idea that even when you hurt me, I don't say anything, and I just forgive you, and I just, you know, just to read that, seriously, I cried so hard. And I did. I cried so hard because I was like, you know what? It's not just, I thought maybe it was just me, you know, and I realized, it's not just me, you know. When you took it, you said that you kept my feelings and personal thoughts to myself and you were shocked. Yeah. Oh my goodness. And that's going to be for another Myers Monday. So, Melanie, thank you. When you get your 4-letter combination, it will then tell you your cognitive functions. That's for a whole other scope. See, even though I'm an extrovert, I have a cognitive function of introverted feeling, which means my feelings are expressed inward. So I may be like talky, and I have extroverted intuition, like all this that I'm talking to you about. I have extroverted thinking, so I will talk about what I intuit. I'll talk about what I think. But when something hits my heart or hits my gut, I get quiet and I internalize and I work through it silently.
And where are you?
Some people are introverted feelers. Some people are extroverted feelers. Some people are introverted thinkers. Some people are extroverted thinkers. What's really interesting, hey, Jessica. So what's really interesting is that you may even, like, for example, even though I'm a feeler, I have the tertiary function, which is the third cognitive function. I have a tertiary function of extroverted thinking. So some people might mistake me for a thinker. I had a friend, she's like, you're always so logical, Lindsay. You're such a thinker. And I'm like, girl, no. I'm like, do you know what's going on in this heart? Like, I'm ready to melt. So it's really, really interesting. And I won't get too much into that today because that's for another scope. That's a whole other thing on itself. But those are the cognitive functions. But it's just to illustrate how deep and how far you can go into this. We've been here a while, and I see the numbers are dropping. So, oh, Melanie. Yeah, Jessica, I'd love for you to watch the replay. So just to kind of like, yeah, I've been on here forever. Oh my goodness, I didn't even realize that. So I know everybody has to go, and I have to go cook dinner, but let me just say this, that the reason why I think the Myers-briggs Type Indicator is so helpful, the reason why I've used it like since I was 9 years old, is because it really, really, once you grasp it and you accept it, thank you, Melanie. Once you grasp the idea and you accept it, and when you become, first you read about yourself, you spend a few weeks, thinking about yourself, but then you give it to your friends and your family. Then your job is to understand them and why they do the things they do. And if you can accept it in your heart, if you can work towards that understanding, if you can pray on it, it will help relationships. There are people that are very rare. In fact, you know what? During Amy's, hey Claudina, during Amy's scope this morning, I was crying. I was up since 2 a.m. and I was crying because my son is, he's one of the rarest types, the INFJ, and hey Amanda, the INFJ and the INTJ are like 1% of the population. And my son had a difficult weekend. And I just found myself crying because I'm like, you know what? He's not your typical boy. And he internalizes so much. He's also very wise. And he, man, if you would listen to this boy's prayers, he cries when he prays. I cry listening to him. But it's just, and there's not a lot of people to understand them. And I just think to myself, like, if people could read this and understand, it could be healing and it could be connecting and it could be uniting. And some of us have children that are nothing like us. And it's really, really useful. A lot of us marry our opposites. A lot of us marry our opposite, because opposites attract. Yeah, Amy. Thanks, Amanda. And it really helps. I know for a long time, I was like, what is with my husband? And then he took the test and I was able to read it. And I was like, wow. I'm like, this is his chemical balance that he was born with. This is his chemistry. This is how he thinks. These are his habits. And another scope, I'm going to end this soon, but I want to tell you another scope that I'm going to do on Myers Monday. And this will blow your mind. This will blow your mind. And I'll mention it again, but I'm going to tell you right now just as a teaser. Once you really get into it, there's something related called socionics. It takes the MBTI and it will even tell you what you look like. Like Sindel, I have no idea what you look like, but let me ask you something. ENFPs are said to have soft, corpulent faces with round features. Like I have like round eyes, round lips, like little round cheeks. Jen has round features. Sindel, I don't even know if Sindel's still here, but the ENFPs have round features. It will tell you how they walk, how they talk, that they use their hands like a certain way. Like I will go like this, I do this. And my friend was laughing at me the other day because she goes, it says that ENFPs often use their hands like paddles, like this. And I'm laughing and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so true. But it will tell you your mannerisms and all sorts of things. So anyway, I think I'm on 5% on my tablet. It totally went dark. All of this is on 16 Personalities site. Most of it you do. Sindel, you have roundish features. See? Yep. As Josh Cashett's that type because he does that. Oh, I wonder. But yeah, it's so funny because it is really interesting and it's something that will make you laugh. It's something that'll make you laugh because when you read it, especially for your family, you're like, oh my goodness, you do that. It'll tell you like how they look and what they act like. And that's just proof, like in utero, you have this chemistry and you have these, hormones and chemicals that are creating your personality, and they're also responsible for how you look. How many times have you heard of like the computer nerd or the scientist that has like the slumpy shoulders and he's kind of like, he's not real athletic built, but he's kind of tall and thin and gangly? Yeah. And it's like, yeah, He's probably an INTP or an INTJ. He's probably like the scientist, you know? How many times have you seen like the SP temperaments that are athletic, and they have an athletic body? They're athletic and they're really good with tactical maneuvering and athletic things. And it's just funny because you realize like this is science. This is science. So anyway, okay, well that's it for today. I've talked so much. It's been almost an hour, but it's been fun. So basically, if you want to, go through the replay. If you don't want to do that, just go to 16personalities.com. Yes, Melanie, I'm so glad you were here. This was fun. Yeah, I'm so happy, Grace. I'm so happy. I'm glad you guys liked it. Yeah, so your first mission, and I'll put this on the groups and my Facebook page. Your first mission is just to take the personality test and read your profile. And then, okay, cool. And so next week, on next Myers Monday, we're going to talk about the 4 temperaments. What that means is that there's 2 letters in each one of your profiles that puts you into a temperament group. You are either an artisan, an idealist, a guardian, or I think they call them some of them call them the visionaries. So, or the rationals, like the scientists, you know. The intuitive feelers are the healers. We're the idealists and the healers. The SPs are the artisans and the tactical. They have the tactical intelligence. The guardians are the structured pillars of society, the conservators, the conservative ones, the traditionalists. So it's really exciting to find out what temperament you lie in, or what temperament you are. So we'll talk about that next week. So I love you guys. This was so much fun. I love sharing this with you. It's something I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about people, understanding one another, getting along, and this is definitely something that helps. So I will see you guys again. I'll probably scope before Monday, but Myers Monday, next Monday, around this time, around 3 or 4 Pacific. And Amanda, thank you so much. I'm glad that you liked it. I'm so happy. Okay, guys, I love you. And take care. Talk to you later. Bye.
Yeah.
Oh.